Good evening. Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Ali coming to you live in my bone shirt to talk a little bit about immune system and kick the sick. So this is the season. I feel like I've been talking about the immune system and immune challenges a ton lately, and that might be because there are so many little kids in this office, but it seems to be the topic of conversation everywhere we read, everywhere we go, that people are scared of kind of what's coming up in the next couple months. They've had challenges in the past, or whatever it may be, but we're here to talk about the immune system. And so in doing a little bit of research, I realized that, oftentimes kids can get sick a lot in a year, and somehow that's documented even at like 6 to 8 times, even as many as 10 or 12 times a year. And that sounds really high to me. I have kids, they went to daycare, they went to school, and we didn't see that kind of numbers of sicknesses in a year. And I see that even with kids in the practice here, they're not getting sick that much. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that they don't get sick, it's just they get sick less often. And when they do, they're able to either fight it a little bit better and it doesn't last as long. So I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about how our immune system works, and maybe some things we can do to make sure that it's working as best as it can. So I've got some cheat notes here just to make sure that we hit everything. Feel free that if you're on or if you're watching this on a replay, you can always message me privately, or you can write a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer it and get back to you with any information that I need to. So our immune systems are pretty cool, and they are working all the time to do a million things at once. So if you think about all the things that you're touching in a day, all the things you're exposed to, who's coughing in your face, who's sneezing in your face, all this stuff's happening and you don't catch everything, right? So there's some magic going on with what's happening in your immune system. And there's some key pieces that will make that immune system work better. So stress, diet, and rest are some pretty big factors and players that if those are failing, our immune system will not be as strong as it possibly can. So how do we get those working better? And again, I get told all the time that, my child has been sick since September, or we have this cold that keeps going around our house over and over again and we just can't seem to kick it. Or my husband now has the man cold and doomsday. All these different things with these challenges around the immune system. And although these may be common, I don't want you to think that they're normal. Okay, so on average, an adult might get a cold, 2 to 4 times a year. And we already talked about the kids might be higher, 6 to 8 or 10. But again, these all seem pretty long. And we want to make sure, what can we do to make sure that those aren't happening as often and that we're able to fight them off when we're faced with any kind of challenge. So a symptom is a way of getting stuff out, right? It's not a bad thing necessarily. We want to get that stuff out of our body, but how do we make sure that's all working as best as it can? First thing we need to know is what actually controls our immune system. And that is, and when I do presentations in classes, or especially in kindergarten classes, and I ask the kids, what do you think is the most important system in your body that's making everything else work? The kids always get it right. They always tell me, it's your brain, your brain's working, your brain's making everything work. And they're bang on. So our brain and our nervous system, which is our brain, spinal cord, and all those nerves are controlling absolutely every other system in our body. And our brain's talking to our body and our body's talking to our brain. And as long as all of that is working without any interference, we're going to be healthy. And this is like a muscle, right? We have to train and we have to make sure that the system is working as best as it can. So our brain tells our immune system, oh, look, there's a bad guy in there. You better get over there. And that immune system all travels to wherever the bad guy is. And it can decide, do I need to do something and, fight this with a sniffle or a cough to make sure it gets out? Or can I take care of it in here? And with training and with time, our immune system gets stronger and stronger and stronger and is able to deal with these challenges. Now, when a baby is first created, the nervous system is actually the very first system to develop, and it pulls the strings for all the other systems in our body. So it's pretty common that people would think a chiropractor is a bone doctor, but we are actually indeed, in fact, nervous system doctors. So we are working on your brain and your spinal cord and your nerves, which all just happen to be exiting and traveling through those very important bones called your spine. And when we're making sure that there's no interference in that system, your body is going to function better, and it's going to be able to adapt to different stresses better. So we have these stresses, we have physical stresses, we have chemical stresses, we have emotional stresses. And when all of those happen, our body is not going to function as well as it can. And this is a time when our immune system may not work as well as it's supposed to. So again, we just are making you function better. We're optimizing your body. We're taking what's already good and we're making that better so that you can be healthier. Now, when we talk about the immune system, there is literally 70 to 80% of your immune system in your digestive system. Therefore, what you eat and what's going into your digestive system is going to play a huge role on how strong that immune system is. Now, I know in my house, I notice, and we generally eat pretty well, but I do notice when there's a time where maybe that's not ideal. So, take a binge weekend where you're away for a tournament, or take, vacation or Christmas holidays, or take tomorrow when kids are going to eat, a ton more candy and non-healthy stuff than any other time of year. My family definitely would notice that, colds and coughs and sicknesses would come about more often. And I'm sure I'm going to see that next week in the office here when kids have been overdosing on sugar for the last 5 days and their systems aren't going to be as strong either. So you can imagine if this whole piece of your digestive system, if it's not getting the right fuel, and when it's getting stuff that isn't that good, that's 80% of our immune system that now is not being able to function as well as it's supposed to. So an easy way to kind of help that is you can take a probiotic. So again, a probiotic is at a health food store. You can get the right dosage depending on, how old you are, if it's a baby, if it's a kid, it's an adult. And this is going to replenish some of that good bacteria that's in our digestive system, because we need that bacteria, and we definitely need it when we're bombarding it with things that aren't so good. Some other things that definitely affect our digestive system and our immune system: dairy would be a huge one. So dairy is a huge, mucus producing and kind of clogs up all of our systems, where it's going to affect our gut and therefore affect our immune system. Another thing is any inflammatory foods. So a lot of white sugar, white flour, those are going to cause an inflammatory response in our body and can definitely be a factor in chronic illnesses or in any kind of immune struggles. So again, we want to think about what we are eating. That's going to be a huge piece. The next piece is also going to be water. So what we are drinking. We want to be drinking daily, just on a normal day, we want to be drinking half our body weight in ounces of water. This is going to keep our systems working well. It's going to keep our skin great. It's going to keep us hydrated. It's going to keep us healthy. When we are sick, our lymphatic system is actually working, double time to get some of this stuff out of our body. And so the more water we drink is going to help to flush that out of our system, right? We don't want any of this bad guck, crap, whatever you want to call it, trapped in our system. So the more water we drink is going to help to flush that out of the system. Another huge piece that's going to help our immune system is rest. Okay, this is our body's quiet time. This is where we can heal. This is where we can regenerate. This is where we sleep. This is a huge piece of when our immune system is getting recharged. And if we're sick, this is when it's actually doing a lot of its work. So rest is a big piece of that. And in my office, I like to talk a lot about gas pedal or brake pedal. So our gas pedal is one side of our nervous system, which is like our fight or flight side. So it's the one that's going, if something needs to be done, it's definitely happening. But we also have this brake pedal, which is our quieter side, right? This is where we're going to heal. This is where we're going to sleep. This is where our digestion happens. This is where our immune system happens. And if we're always on the gas, then our brake pedal isn't working quite as well. And we're going to see challenges, like I just mentioned, immune challenges, sleep challenges, all these different things. So rest is a key piece. Now, this can sometimes be a bit of a vicious cycle because obviously if you're unwell or your kids are sick, they don't seem to be getting the same amount of rest that they need, or the quality of their sleep isn't that great. So again, it's something that we want to make sure our bodies have enough downtime that they can get that proper rest. Fever is another big topic with immune systems because fevers can be a good thing. So fevers are literally our body raising the internal temperature to cook whatever we have in there so it can't survive. We're literally trying to burn that bug out. Now, there's obviously numbers that you need to know as far as what's healthy with the fever, what's safe, depending on the age of your baby or your child. You want to talk to your primary healthcare practitioner about what those numbers are to make sure that obviously everything is healthy and safe, but that you're also letting the body use its own little innate mechanism to cook that sucker out so that it can't survive within the body. A lot of talk lately, we hear tons about essential oils, and this is kind of, little bit newer, I guess, in this whole healthcare world. I use them, personally for myself and for my family, but obviously I can direct you if you want to talk to someone a little bit more about how you would use those. You can use them topically, you can use them aromatically, you can ingest some of them. And again, they might be to calm down a cough, they might be to manage a fever. There's different uses you can use, definitely, when you're having these immune challenges. Now, I'm sharing this with you because, again, I already talked to you that I'm this nervous system expert that's literally helping all these other systems function. And, just recently I had a teacher that was in here and she was filling out a progress report to kind of let us know how things are going, what changes she's noticed, those kinds of things. And she literally stopped filling out the form and she looked at us and she's like, oh my God, I wasn't sick at all last winter. And we hear that often, so we weren't too surprised. And she said, but that's really strange. Like, I teach kindergarten. Like, there are kids, sick kids all the time, coughing and sneezing on me, and I am always sick every winter. And last winter I wasn't sick. So this is proof that, when these systems are working better, there is going to be less illness, or when there is less illness, or when there is illness, sorry, you're going to be able to fight it a little bit better, and you're hopefully going to be able to get it over it a little bit faster. And I know that, and I can't imagine sometimes when I see these families that are stuck in this cycle, right? Because they are stuck where their schedules are affected, their busy schedules are affected, their sleep is affected, they're worrying tons, their kids are always sick, they're missing school, and they're having to juggle, not being able to send them to daycare and having to kind of take days off of work. And this becomes a real challenge for families. So obviously, if there's anything I can do to get this information out and to help somebody that might be struggling with these challenges, I want to share that, because the healthier we can make these kids, the healthier our community is going to be, and the healthier these kids are going to grow into adults. And it's just win, win, win. So I want you to be able to enjoy your life, and I want these kids able to enjoy their life. So please, if, like I said, if you fall into this category where these are some of the challenges you've had, hopefully you can take some of these tips and implement them, and you can have a healthier fall and winter this year. If you want to share this webinar, please do that. And I'm going to leave the office information is within this page. So please call us if you'd like to have your nervous system checked and scanned. We have that capability in the office to see, where you're struggling or where things are working well, right? So just like when we talk about, being sick 6 times a year might be common but not normal. The same thing applies, for those people that tell me, oh, I get, I only get normal headaches. I get 3 a month or whatever it may be. Okay, again, common, not necessarily normal. So please, if there's anything we can do to help you, please reach out. Just mention that you watch this webinar and we will definitely take care of you. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great night.